Hello.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible, Anshuman?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. A warm welcome to each and everyone to the first discussion in Web Development Club. It's my pleasure to welcome our alumni mentor, Mr. Anshuman Sagar, to this discussion. Thank you, Anshuman, for joining us even in your busy schedule.
No problem, ma'am. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Anshuman. Over to you. You can take over the session, Anshuman.
Yes, okay. Okay. The agenda of the session today is that we'll get to know what is Web Development Club, what we'll get to learn, what you'll get to learn in Web Development Club, and what is web development, how it is going to help you in the future. Not in detail. I'll keep the session short. Even I have to go and attend a few meetings. That's why. So, yeah. Also, I know there's a very difficult times we are going. All of us are going through during this pandemic. Everyone is stuck at home, nowhere to go to. Yeah, but yeah, this is how life is for now. Right. Okay. Web development, as you know, is about developing web apps, web applications. Do not do not compare it with just developing static websites. Developing static website is different thing that can be done with any of the other tools available with like WordPress or Shopify or Wix. There are a lot of frameworks have come into picture which develop static sites. Web development is actually development of a software hosted online, right? So the whole trend initially, if you remember, initially all the softwares used to be system software which you have to install in the system and then use it. But this whole trend is moving towards cloud computing, and all of these softwares are moving towards online hosting, right? So we write softwares, backend as well as front end, which are hosted online, and they do a lot of business. They run a lot of business logic at the backend, and yeah, and it provides services to the consumers. So yes, so what I mean by is this: it does not mean that we are only writing HTML, CSS, and that is it. No, that is only one very small part of web development. Okay. There are a lot of aspects in web development. If you want to become a full stack developer, which we call it as a full stack. Why we call it full stack? Because then you have to learn. I mean, you have aspects of database management, which where at the end of the day, all the data is being stored. Then you have backend development, where you write APIs, the core business logic, all your which runs at the backend, which is not visible to the user. And at the last, then you have front end, which where you write front end app which run on your browser and which is visible to the user, right? So if you know all of these three, we call them full stack. Plus, it also involves part of DevOps, because you should know how your application is hosted online. What services are you using? Are you using AWS or Microsoft Azure? Are you hosting it using serverless architecture, or are you hosting it using a server in a server or a virtual machine, right? So there are a lot of aspects are involved in web development. But the basic thing where to start web development is always HTML, CSS. Yes, that's where we start. But it gets in more advanced scenarios, it goes up to it's covering all of these things. Um, in fact, web development is so much in demand right now that after pandemic, we have heard a lot of news in market. I mean, in industries that a lot of employees are being laid off. A lot of people are being laid off, but every single point, every single news of that is not from development departments or development scenarios. They're all from either from operations or support, only from those departments. So in fact, I've noticed that demand for software developers has gone multifold after the pandemic started, because most of the companies, especially the education, edtech, and the companies like which provide daily course, like Amazon, Flipkart, grocery online grocery stores, right? they are demanding the software developers so much. Many of my friends who were I mean, they have got such big, so many invitations from different companies that it's difficult to decide where to go. Especially companies like CureFit, Amazon, Paytm, Adobe. They are coming to you and asking, "Ki, please join us. We are in lack of, we have lack of resources." So yes, web development is lot in demand. It is, and in fact, it is only going to increase because almost everything we use is going online day by day. So web development as well as app development. Okay. Then web development is also not limited to only online hosting. There are a lot of scenarios where we will need applications which gets installed in the system, right? So but it is much easier to um, design an application with HTML, CSS than writing system specific code and then writing specific for Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. So technologies have come out that you write your code as a web application and you can package it as a system software. In fact, in one of the projects we have done that using, there's a framework called Electron. I mean, yeah, it's very advanced, but yeah, we have done that. We have written a web application and packaged it as a system software that you can actually, and that is platform independent. You can run it in Mac OS, you can run it in Windows. So yes, it is not just limited to that. So if you know all these technologies, if you know all of these technologies, yes, the scope is very much, you can go anywhere in any direction. In fact, with the advent of PWAs, something called progressive web applications, your web applications are now also being considered as mobile applications. So you don't have to learn mobile technologies specifically to write a mobile application. With PWAs, you can just host your site and it will act as a mobile application, right? So yeah, so there are so many aspects. So many fields where you can go once you are into web development. Then web development is also not just about taking, I mean, it has mainly two aspects, backend and front end. So if you are into backend, you have to know all these algorithms, data structure. So even now, whether you're in front end or back end, you go to any of the companies, they will still ask you all these questions because it is needed. Sometimes it does happen that when we are rendering, when we are in the page, in the front end, when we are rendering the elements on the front end, right? They are called elements, they are called DOM elements. When we are rendering that, it so happens that it becomes a tree of lot of elements, and then when some on user interactions, we have to modify a lot of elements with a lot of things on the page. So there you have to involve a tree traversal, where how do you traverse the whole tree of elements to so that it gets updated in less amount of time without user being able to see any jerks on the page, right? So that is in front end. Then similar thing in back end, you will have a lot of business logic where you have to involve a lot of algorithms to make sure that your API response time, the amount of time your code is taking, is as less as possible. So you do have to take care of that. Without that, it obviously you cannot just write any application. Otherwise, what will happen is, if you have used all these apps we use in mobile, right? When we click on something, the transition from one screen to another screen is almost instant. That is because the backend server is responding very fast. I hope I'm not going too much of technical, but I'm just trying to explain what all you will. It involves, web development involves all of these aspects to build optimized, reliable, user-friendly user-friendly applications. Now, till now, I've talked about backend. Now, in front end in the sense, the part of the application which faces the user, there you have to think of how you have to think, there are two elements there again, UI and UX. We call it user interface and user experience. So you build a very beautiful UI, but user experience is very bad, that your delete button is in green color and your submit button is red color, right? Then it confuses a user, right? So you have to, in front end, when you're coding, you have to also make sure that your user experience is good. So So it involves that part also. From a user point of view, from a user perspective, you have to think how your application is going to be used. Whether the placement of button on the right is good or on the left is good, on the top is good. Even such small decisions will make a lot of effect in user interactions. In fact, I'm seeing this in real time because why am I mentioning this? Because in our applications, once we deploy the applications, once they go live, we do all kind of customer tracking, right? You have Facebook Analytics, Google Analytics. So with that, we get to know that once we change an button from left to right, with just that, we see more number of orders going through our site, going through our applications, than it was only on the left, right? If we allow, in case of e-commerce, if you allow guest checkout, you get more orders than if you don't allow guest checkout, right? With the placing order without signing in. So what I mean to say is, yes, even such small decisions in front end also matters. So yeah, it covers a lot of such aspects. But always starting the basic will always be HTML and CSS. From there we start. It always starts from there because that is the core, that is the base. You start from there. Once you start from there, you go into frameworks, front end frameworks, which allow you to you will get to know about terminologies like DOM, updating the DOM, DOM lifecycle, virtual DOM. I hope you would have already read this in web web development was no web. There was a subject related to web. I don't remember the name right now. Yeah, so that gets used. Different, the get and post, the web methods, the delete methods, when to use get, when to use post, when to use put, when to use delete. There, so such things we don't consider it such a big thing when we are actually studying these things and they are in our syllabus. But when you actually come into actual real world and you actually start working on production applications, you get to know the importance of all these things. Such small things will matter. So yes, so we will cover all of these things starting from basic, and gradually we will move towards advanced way to the advanced topics. And my idea, not just mine, our whole teams who are conducting this is idea is to, by the end of one session of one course of this club, will be able to you guys will be able to develop a small, very basic web app, host it online, and you can show it off to your friends, right? It also helps in interviews after college, because when you go for interviews, you can always say that, see, this is my GitHub profile, where I have done so much of things, and they will go through your profile. They will see how clean code you write. How do you comment? How do you write comments in your code? Right. So all of these things will matter. And yes, by the end of this thing, you will be able to you will have would have learned a lot of concepts about web development, about sorry, that was my mobile. Would have learned lots of concept web, in backend, in front end, and in whole of web development. Plus, you will be able to develop one application on your own. Obviously, yes, nothing is easy, so it will not be a spoon feed sessions. We will tell the basics, we will tell overview, but the practice, self-learning is very much important as well on top of that. So yeah, that is also needed from every yeah, it depends on your interest. So if you are want to get into web development, this is needed. Self-learning is very important, very much important. In college, we all you have a lot of people around you to ask, but once you go into industries, it people will not even tell you. Everyone will be busy with their own projects, that you will not get any help. So reading the documentation, figuring out things yourself, so will definitely come into picture. So self learning is very important. So make sure that this you make use of this opportunity. um, Read the basics, get the basics, make your basics clear, make the foundation very strong, and so that when you go ahead onto web development, you are one of the you are called one of the experts in web development. Okay. Yeah, that is all from me. Ma'am, anything else I should cover?
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
yes, ma'am,
thank
go
you.
on.
Yeah, 1 second, Vinod. Thank you, Anshuman. I think students, you came to know that what exactly how the flow should be. In fact, he has explained very well that what should be learned so that what will be the end product, and it is all your interest how you are going to come up with interest so that they will provide you a way where you can learn, right? So, but you should shows interest, and self study is very important thing over here, right? They will provide you a way, they will provide you all information through where you can go and get all the informations, but then you have to put your effort. So at the end, if you can come up with some use cases where you can create your own product, right? That is exactly the outcome we are expecting from this team. I think so, isn't it, Shuman?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, also there is no idea in this world which is small. If you, ma'am, if you remember, we had done this automated toll gate in
Yes,
when
yes.
we were
I
studying. Yeah, and we did not take it very seriously to that. That was, it was done as a project, and we were okay. And it was there. That by that time it was not implemented anywhere else. But today, I think if we had taken one few more steps ahead and taken some pain and brought this idea to little bit of production ready as product, we could have won some deal somewhere with some company. So, yeah. So no idea is ever
work
small.
in an efficient way and try for patents even. Isn't it, Anshuman?
Pardon, ma'am. Ma'am, can you repeat?
Am I audible?
Your voice is breaking, ma'am, slightly.
Okay, okay. That's all. That's what, as I said, even though it's a simple thing, make it an efficient way. So many have applied patents for the existing, but they have done it in an efficient way. The batches, the student belong to Anshuman's batch only, in fact. So you don't think it's so simple, it exists, but you should know that how to do it efficiently also, right? So I think that's from my view. Other than I want Vinit to take over, and if you want to explain the schedule or the flow, you can please go ahead, Vinit.
Just a
Thank you,
second.
Anshuman.
Just a second. I want to put in a word.
Yeah.
Fifth semester students are doing mini project in their DBMS lab. Okay, and they'll be creating all the back end. If Anshuman can help them to do the front end, that would be of great help.
Sure, ma'am. No problem.
Yeah. So what I will like to do is I will tell more of its some students who are doing all the mini project to join this group only. Okay. So they'll be learning something in the HTML, and they'll be able to implement this as an application.
Okay, ma'am.
Vinit can continue.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Anshuman, for that lovely talk. So I just want to just give a heads up about how we're going to start off with the club. So I understand that the internals are getting closer by. I believe it's supposed to be on 21st, if I'm not mistaken, or at the very least in about a week's time. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick off the club this Saturday, but rest assured you won't have any assignments until given to you until after your first internals, right? So this Saturday is going to be a talk about the DevOps systems. Like we're going to get you all to have get you all having a GitHub account. We're going to teach you the basics of Git. We're going to teach you how, and we're also going to teach you how you can easily host a static website, such as, for example, your portfolio website, which would eventually become your first assignment on GitHub Pages, which is GitHub's own implementation of a web hosting service. So, in addition to what the teachers and Anshuman and I have just spoken, if you guys have any queries, you can please leave them in the chat section.
One second. Anshuman, can you please tell them GitHub repositories will help them to have a good profile even, isn't it? It is an add-on to their profile.
Yes, so generally when you go for interviews, when anyone goes for interview, even now, even after 5-6 years of experience, they generally look at your GitHub profile about what all you have done in your life, like out of your own interest, other than your office work, and that is one thing they see there. Also, they also get to know, because we don't want, and not just one company or two company, all of the companies, they don't want any person who does not know how to write clean code, because code maintenance is one of the big issues in many of the bigger companies. So they will also get to know how cleanly you are writing the code, how efficiently you're writing comments, what is your style of implementation of any solving a problem. So all these things they can see from your profile, and that gives a very good idea to them. If your profile is very good on GitHub, your just consider that your interview is 50% cleared.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I just want to touch up upon that fact. We had actually, Anshuman, we had recently had a poll, just to check the proficiency of our club members. So I was surprised to find that. I mean, I wouldn't say surprised, but it was certainly a little out of my expectations that 70% of you guys don't have a GitHub account. Not that you use GitHub, but do not have a GitHub account. So I would urge you guys to create an account. It's as simple as creating a social media account. So at least by the Saturday, just head on to github.com, create an account.
Vinit, to add to your point, GitHub is social media for us developers, for us
Exactly.
engineers.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
You might not get referrals, and you may not get noticed in social media. Maybe there you'll get noticed for other reasons, but here you will definitely get noticed for your technical skills.
If you have a good GitHub project pinned on your profile with a lot of stars, it would look way better than anything else you would have on your resume. So I would just urge you guys to take the first step, go to github.com, just create a profile by this Saturday.
Okay. Just to add one more point, that doesn't mean I get stalked on GitHub because my profile does not contain anything, because of my company policy that whatever we do in my company, it's part of the company. So I had to take a lot of projects down. But yes, you should, before you join anywhere else, you should have it up and running as much as
As
possible.
someone who's actively looking for jobs, it's very important to keep it public.
Yes. Anything else to?
I don't have anything else to add, ma'am. If the students have any questions, they can just leave it in the chat section.
Yes, participants, please, you can leave any queries in the chat box, so that will be addressed to you. If I think no one is sending any message, I suppose. Okay, anyway, Vinit, have you shared the schedule to the, participants or students?
They have, yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Then accordingly it will go on. So sometimes Anshuman also will come in, right, to give more details if anywhere required. And if any assignment given, I think he can also help to evaluate it.
Sure, ma'am. I also want to attend all the sessions we are conducting.
Yeah, sure.
That is, I'll try to join, but please do send me also the invite so that I can.
Yes, sure. No problem. We are planning on doing that anyways.
Yes. So in that group, you please add on Anshuman also, so that whenever you send the link, it will be reaching you.
So I'll be sure to send him personally, even if he's not in the group. But
yeah.
If yes. So by the looks of it, I guess none of you have any questions. So if Anshuman or Asha ma'am has anything, don't have anything else to add on, I believe we can conclude this meeting.
Yes. Anything else, Anshuman?
Nothing else, ma'am.
Okay, we'll continue. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Anshuman. for
Thank you,
your
ma'am.
valuable time. In fact, you're busy, I know.
It's fine. It's fine, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Anshuman, and thank you, teachers. So
Yeah.
yes, you can be dismissed now. Thank you for attending.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.